Today is Monday, June 15th, 2020. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. The agenda for today is to go down our 119 status updates. Last Friday was the deadline for opening a placeholder doc PR. Please go ahead and do so if you haven't already. And then we have code freeze coming up in about a week and a half. So let's go down our status. All right. So I've been trying to get this Mach driver test promoted to the conformance suite, but it's been flaky, so I've been debugging the flaky issue. I believe I have narrowed down the issue to be the same as the problem where we are not correct, or we're not correctly detecting the mount points for during the function where that kubelet uses to determine if all of the volumes have been safely unmounted. So I think Jing has a partial fix for that, but I will have to follow up after her fix goes in to make additional changes to not assume that things are actually mount points. So that's that. Next up, Patrick, you have your capacity tracking and ephemeral volumes work.
Yeah, so I think you looked at the API pull request in some more detail. I replied to that. You may have, well, you may want to look at my comments to see whether we now agree on what's the updated PR. I think we still need formally an API reviewer who is actually going to approve the whole thing. And I'm not sure who's a good candidate. We had a meeting with Clayton last week about generic ephemeral inner volumes, but he kindly did not volunteer to also look at storage capacity tracking. I think that's my takeaway. So we still need someone else.
Okay, and no one has been assigned to it yet?
No, I don't think so.
Is the right label on it?
I think it is. I did the API review command thing.
Okay. I mean,
I don't
it
think the
will.
labels are, sorry. I don't think the labels are working because I had label on my PR for more than a week, and then I needed to ping Clayton actually manually.
Okay. Well, okay. I will go find an official API reviewer for this. It will probably be Tim.
Yeah, okay. And I have added, or I found one issue that we might need to resolve in the API itself. For the node topology, we currently specify the full node selector as a field, or the type of a field, which implies that you can alternatively filter by labels or by fields. But which fields depends on the implementation. So we can basically give a list of, or we can pick some pod fields like name as done in some other example. But I wasn't sure which fields we want to filter by. And if
I think at least for our purposes, we should not use field and we should just use labels.
Okay.
If someone wants to manually create these objects, then they have the option to use the field, but at least for the stuff that we auto-generate, we should just stick to labels.
Well, they don't have the option unless we implement it. That's the point. There is one piece in our code where we call the utility, the helper function to do the node check. And if we don't pass any fields, field filtering doesn't work. There's nothing to match against. So
Well, it should go through the same validation and methods that we use for node selector, right? Which handle both.
and the utility code doesn't. I've looked at two call sites for the helper function, and one passes metadata name as a field that you can filter by, and the other passes nil. And if it passes nil, you can't match by fields. So we basically need to define which fields to filter by, which field filters we want to support in this API.
Okay, I'll have to take a deeper look, but
Yeah.
for some reason I thought that it was the node selectors are generically processed.
No, they are not. I think there's a common utility code, but what data it has access to varies. So for the persistent volumes, there we only allow labels. And for it's in the comment basically. For some other call site, we allow field, but only by name. So it's inconsistent at the moment.
Okay, I'll take a closer look.
Yeah, that's currently why I put the API on hold, because we basically need to document at that particular usage of the node selector type what the fields are. If we don't allow any, if we allow some, which are those? That's basically part of our API here. But that's a minor detail. Okay. The bigger part is really getting the rest of the API approved.
Okay, so sounds good.
Let's move on then to generic ephemeral inline volumes. So we had the meeting with Clayton, our API reviewer for this last Friday. I think part of the feedback from him was that the cap itself didn't communicate clearly enough for him why we want that, what the shortcomings are of the current solutions that motivated basically proposing yet another volume source. So we went through that, explained it, and I've done an update to the cap that's currently pending review by Clayton to basically improve the cap itself. Whether that's enough for Clayton, I don't know. He seems unhappy with the amount of volume sources that are in the pod spec, and then now yet another one that doesn't replace something else seems to be problematic for him. But I'm not sure what to do about that.
Well, I don't know what to do either, but I think he wants to merge stuff. For example, to merge empty there, we have with this cap, and if possible, then also include CSI inline volumes in it, like basically rework all the volume sources we have. But this is a long way, and I'm not really sure what to do in this release. If the generic volume source we have right now is enough.
Yeah,
I think this was kind of what Saad was sort of proposing, like longer term, we want to just, there should only be like one way to specify everything.
Yeah, but that just means that we replace a flat list of volume sources with a nested volume source. So you would have the additional ones, you would have ephemeral, and inside ephemeral you can choose yet another kind of different ephemeral volumes. I don't see that actually as an API improvement. We can do it, but I just don't see the point. But it doesn't necessarily become easier for the user either. But yeah, I know it goes in that.
Okay. Is there plans to have another follow-up meeting with Clayton?
It depends on what his feedback is on the cap change. So we will have another meeting tomorrow if there is something that he wants to discuss.
Okay, sounds good. I think it's just, you know, this is definitely a big and impactful change, so we want to make sure we do it in the direction, you know, in the right direction. So let's just continue to keep on discussing and see where we can go.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much for driving this. All right, next up, the scaling change for volume attachment has merged. And I believe, Xing, you opened up cherry picks for this.
Yeah, can you take a look?
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay.
The other thing I want to make sure is to we should monitor our tests to make sure they didn't get more flaky after this.
Yeah, sure. So the same people need to approve, right? So you and whoever approve the other one.
Sure, that's
Sure.
fine.
Is that right? Okay. I don't know who else needs to be there.
Yeah. I'll go and take a look at the cherry picks.
Okay. So
All right.
1.18 is clean. 1.17, there are some conflicts needs to manually resolved because of the V1, beta 1 to V1 thing.
Mm. Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, because the CSI driver, that one was going from beta to GA in 1.18. So yeah, that's one thing that's different. It's causing a lot of conflicts. Yeah, in 1.17.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll take a look. All right. Let's see. Next up is the recovery from save volume data.
Yeah, so I left a comment because we need to do the same thing in the mount device and the author. The PR author basically said that the defer will remove it, but the defer gets called after the whole save volume data functions routine. So the defer is not installed yet, so he has to update the code. Last I checked, so I'll check if he has updated the code, and I've asked him to write some tests if possible because we don't have tests to capture these things. So yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the update. We'll keep making progress on that. Let's see. I saw Humble made some updates on this. I haven't had a chance to take a look, so but I'll go ahead and do that today. Next up, we have image publishing.
So we are migrating from the Kubernetes SIG, Kubernetes CSI staging repo to a combined Kubernetes SIG storage repo. That's basically pending right now. I've started updating. We were basically ready for Kubernetes CSI, and now I'm updating configuration files, jobs to also work for SIG storage. There is currently one open PR for promoting existing images to SIG storage, and also reconfiguring our final promotion helper script. I put it under PRs needing attention because I think at this point someone from SIG storage probably needs to go do a good. It looks good to me, and then the owners of the org K8s org repo need to approve that because it also changes the approvers. I think. Well, it might be enough. I'm not sure. Perhaps
Okay.
Michelle, you can have a look at that whether your approval is enough. I ran into one minor issue. I used the same approach as DIMS for pulling our existing images and pushing them. And I found that this did not work for me with Docker pull, Docker push for our multi-arc CSI Mach image that we had as a test case. Basically, Docker pull was pulling the architecture-specific image and pushing that also instead of pushing all image variants. I've not found a solution for that particular problem because it's only for this one CSI Mach 3.1.1 that we are not using anywhere and probably will be replaced soon. I'm proposing in that pull request to just ignore that problem, unless someone has a better idea for moving images between G-Cloud repositories.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, worst case, we can just manually push the remaining images if we need to.
Yeah, but if someone finds out how to do it, I've not found a way to do that for multi-arc. So all the others are promoted. All of the others are now in the SIG storage staging, and that pull request basically instructs the image promoter to also move them to the final destination, except for this one image.
Okay. I think that's okay. Yeah, worst case if someone asks, then we can try to figure it out.
Yeah. Or we just do another CSI test release, and then it would have been obsoleted anyway. That's actually my plan.
Yeah. That's also an alternative. All right. Thank you so much for driving this. I think we're in our last stages, so we're getting really close to being able to switch over completely. So awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I'm gonna skip over Windows since Jing and Deep are not here. Next up, we have volume health.
Yeah, so this is still work in progress. We reviewed Nick's update again. I need to ping him on unit test. Haven't seen unit test yet, and the Mach driver change. I think also waiting for the person to address the review comments. That's it.
All right. And next up is snapshots.
So snapshot, I'm waiting for Shanqian to take another look. I addressed his comments, hoping to get the requeue one to get merged. The ETV test, I actually forgot what is status. I think Grant has been addressing the review comments. Not sure what's the latest. Thought I see some update, but I forgot. Oh no, some test failure. Okay. Oh, slow. Oh, okay.
Looks
So
like
this is the one that you have been tracking, right? So it's probably the same thing.
Yes. The slow issue should be fixed by now.
Oh, so we just do a retest maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go ahead and ping Psychot to review this one again.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, and I think this V2 thing. I see that you added some comments saying that maybe we don't need to have that symbolic link, but then Patrick was saying that we probably still need it. Do you have any?
Oh, to support depth.
Yeah, because that seems to be giving us some trouble when we're doing some other things. Patrick was saying that's still okay. That right? Is Patrick still on the line?
I'm here. So
Yeah.
in this particular case that we were discussing on Slack, the consumer of the snapshot repo was actually using dep, and he needed those V2 symlinks for that to work. The problem that he had was that he hadn't updated the import path in his source code.
Oh, okay. So he said it works now, right?
He got it to work with updating the dep, updating the import path, and yeah, but that confirms that we still need this dep back compatibility support because people are consuming that repository through dep and not just through Go modules.
Okay, so the
I guess we need to sort of make a call as we'll have to make a call when we want to when we want to stop supporting dep.
Right. Kubernetes, does it still support dep, the entry one?
So I mean, you're not supposed to actually directly import Kubernetes. So I don't think they care. I don't think they support dep.
But those have those.
Problem,
but those has. What about those like API? Those staging part. That's not a problem at all. Those doesn't have the same problem.
Those do have all a 0. something version number, I think.
Okay.
Except for some minor deviations like client client Go, which apparently had some non-zero
Oh,
version
it's
to use
not
in the
really,
past. So
it's not
so that
2.0 yet, so it's probably
yeah.
different. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So the problem doesn't come up because it's all considered alpha, unstable APIs, and so on, and therefore you don't need to do the V2 version
Right.
fix,
Okay.
even when using Go modules. So it's a
Okay.
slight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are other like Kubernetes projects like Klog, for example, which doesn't support that anymore.
Doesn't support the dependency. Yeah, and the Klog is kind of also like everybody depends on it too. So yeah, I don't know what. Okay, so we probably should consider when should we drop this one? It's making kind of complicated.
Yeah, I mean, do you see it as like, is this API thing like just not able to work with the V2?
I actually still haven't got a chance to. I need to ping that guy and see what's going on with this one. I need to ping him. Yeah, but he was blocked because of he was having some trouble with this V2 thing. But
okay.
Yeah, I need to see if there's a way to get around this.
All right, sounds good. All right. Next up is volume expansion.
So the the change for volume in use error in resizer was merged. The CSS anti-test was merged. So I'm going to make an announcement to the community mailing list about the node expand should be called after node publish, and the anti-test verifies it. Then I have a PR open for recovery from expansion PR. Change, it implements the quota and everything. I need reviews from, I know Michelle assigned SADs to it, so I need reviews. I'm updating the external resizer and the resize controller to honor that. Like that, it's a small change, but that is something I'm working on. And that's it, I think. And then I have another PR that updates the CSI version, and I'll have to fix it. I think they also pushed the docs update deadline to 19th June. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they pushed the code freeze deadline, but just something to. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me double check the deadline then. I thought it was on Friday, but okay, cool. Thanks for updating that. All right. And then I think we are doing some changes to CSI Driver that are not, we don't have an item for it here. I think Christian, you were working on some stuff.
Yes, we have an issue for it. It needs to get added to the board, but we're adding the ability for CSI drivers to support whether or not they support FS groups. I have an open PR for it. There are valid test failures in the Basel test jobs that I need to address. I think they're mostly related to conformance and conversion. So I need to get those resolved, but the rest of the tests, the unit tests are passing. And there are placeholder PRs for docs in the Kubernetes website and the CSI documentation repos. So I'm hoping to get
Awesome.
those addressed today, and it will need an API review.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for the update. All right. That's it for all the features that we are working on. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about? All right, then we'll end for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.